Wake the fuck up!
Yeah, we're just chugging right along here. Right along here. Coming up on Christmas here. What is that? Like a week and a half away?
Pretty much 2 weeks, because it'll be next Saturday.
I guess, yeah, that's true.
We're recording on Sunday the 12th. For
2
the
weeks.
listener, though, a week and a half.
Yeah. That's what I was doing. I was thinking in their shoes. You know, that was, yeah. That'll be my recovery. Are you up to too much this past week? I suppose you had finals going on, or at least studying for finals.
Yeah, it's been final prep this week. Been worked over 40 hours this week, so
I can't imagine doing that.
It's been a lot, but we're almost to the finish line. I'm done on Wednesday, so can't complain too much.
Yeah.
Let's see. There was something else. I'll ask how your week was. 'Cause you had a fun one.
Oh gosh, I got either a cold or the flu again. I think it was the flu, because it was crazy because it was either the worst cold I've had or the worst bad flu that I've ever had. Worst bad. We'll put that. That'll go in Webster's as a phrase this year. But I started to get a sore throat on, it would have been a week ago on Saturday. So I was like, there's no way I'm getting sick again. I was like, I'm going to go buy a humidifier and stuff. And I said, it's probably just because it's so dry and starting to get cold out. So I'll go take care of that stuff. Because I just had a cold at the end of October. So I go and get my humidifier and stuff. Sunday comes around. I feel about the same. So I'm like, well, maybe the humidifier helped. And then Monday comes around. I'm starting to feel a little worse. Tuesday comes around. I feel terrible. And I went to work still. But there's this thing that we're supposed to fill out every morning where you put your symptoms. And I never put my symptoms on there. Because, like, if you say you have so much as a runny nose, they'll make you stay home and go get tested. And I've got both my vaccines. I've been scared about it before, and every time I take a test, it's always negative. So I was like, well, I'm sure I'm fine. I'll just go to work. But then my boss got on me about it. He's like, you got to tell the truth on those things, man. And I was like, okay, because everybody else is out sick, and I would have felt bad. But it's probably a good thing I was out for at least the next 2 days, because I when I got home that afternoon at like 4, I started to feel bad at like 2 o'clock. So I took a little bit of a nap, woke up, and I had a fever. It was like 101 something. So I like filled everything out, and they told me that I had to stay home through the 10th. And I was like, ugh. I was like, this sucks. I'd rather just stay home like up until my fever breaks, and then like that day and then the day after. Just because you're like, I'm pretty sure with the flu, that's like when you're most contagious. I don't know if that's the only point when you're contagious. I imagine it's not, but that's like when you're most contagious. And so I did all that. I was ready to go back on the 10th, and I had to take this test thing that morning. And it said that I failed it, even though all I had was a cough and a little bit of a stuffy nose. I hadn't had my fever since Wednesday. That was the craziest part. I think I had the fever for maybe 24 hours because I napped most of the day on Wednesday when I was at home, and I woke up at like 1:30ish, and I took my temp again, and it was down like 99. And then later that night it was down at 90. I think it was like 97.6. So like I've been better since Wednesday night. But then I apparently failed that quiz, and I called them. I've never been so upset in my life because I just start to go stir crazy if I'm not doing anything, and I just stay at home. I'm like, I said I haven't had a fever since Wednesday. I said I said, it's probably the flu since I had a fever. I said, I took an at-home COVID test. It was negative. So I was like, I just really want to come back to work. I said, you'll never catch me saying it again, but I'm ready to go back. And they're like, well, you can't go back unless you got a negative COVID test. And they said, even then, sometimes we don't let you. And I was like, well, I said the at-home one was negative. And they're like, well, you have to get, I think it's called like a PCR, where it goes somewhere and gets tested and stuff, and it takes a day or two. And the reason I got so pissed at that point was because backtracking, when I took that, or put it in my symptoms and got told that I had to stay home on Wednesday, I got a phone call, and I asked them, they said, it's recommended that you get a COVID test. And I said, is it going to bring me back quicker if I get a COVID test? And they told me no. So I was like, well, I'll do an at-home one anyways, just for my own like sanity, because I had one sitting around anyways. But then when I got that call on the 10th, they told me that if I would get a COVID test, I could go back quicker. So I was like, I could have gone and gotten a drive-through test on Thursday, and I could have been back either Friday or Saturday. But now, it's been that was like a 5-minute long rant, but I just, it's like both the far ends, right? Like, I want to go back to work. I feel like nobody knows my body better than me, and I feel fine. I'm still kind of stuffed up, and I've got like mucus and stuff, but like it's nothing that's slowing me down. I don't have fatigue or anything or any of that. But I mean, at the same time, on the flip side, I know like this Omicron variant's going around, and obviously COVID's a really serious thing. So they want to like take precautions and stuff, but man, I just tired of being cooped up. I did sneak out to go see West Side Story though.
Right. Yeah,
had my
I
mask
think you
on.
had a few things to say about this one too.
I did, yeah. I want to first apologize to Mr. Steven Spielberg. I was quick to judge. I listened to the soundtrack, and I just like, there were songs that I liked. Like the Jets are good. I like the Sharks music. It's really good. What is it? But something about Ansel Elgore's voice. I think it's because it's different. Like he's got a lower set voice than the original Tony. There's a lisp that he has, and it kind of comes through at points. Not to go against anybody with a lisp. It's just different, than the original. It's
just that you'll
recording.
never be Tony from West Side Story, and you never should be.
Me?
According to Dan, no.
Ansel. Oh, if someone has that's not true.
That's what it seemed to be.
Okay, you're gonna get me canceled. This is now gonna be my cancelable thing. It's just really different. I think my problem with a lot of remakes is I usually go in thinking that I like want it to be the exact same movie, but this one, for some reason, I guess I went in with a different headspace, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. It was it was definitely different, but I think it was different in a good way. One of the big differences that I think is really cool is the actress. I can't remember her name. I would look it up, but the only movie I know her from is West Side Story. She's the actress who originally played Anita, plays the woman who runs Doc's store. She's Doc's wife, and Doc has passed away. So, at the beginning of the movie, I see that, and I'm like, I don't like this. Like, the Jets always hung out at Doc's, and it was Doc. I don't like it. But the movie went on, and it was, I liked it. It was pretty cool, because she's still Puerto Rican. So, it's like she's this safe house for Tony. She's taking care of Tony, so, she kind of gets along with the Jets. She always tells Tony that he shouldn't hang out with him because he deserves a lot better. But she takes care of the Jets and stuff, and the Sharks will come to her because she's got that Puerto Rican background. She's from Puerto Rico, so it was kind of a cool change. a lot of the songs were like they were different, maybe sung by different people. What is it? I'm trying to remember the name of the song. Just play it cool, boy, real cool. That's
just cool.
Yeah, just cool. So that's supposed to be the song where it's like Riff's dead, and it's like the second act, and they're all freaking out. All the Jets are because nobody's there to lead them, and Iceman, Diesel, whatever the version is, like kind of starts to take over, and he's like, it's like we all need to keep it calm, cool, and collected. But what it is in this movie, and I kind of liked it more, this version, is Riff gets a gun for the fight. He doesn't just like get a gun. He doesn't just get it for fun. He gets it for the rumble, for like protection, because they're like, oh, the sharks are gonna bring knives and stuff, and they'll probably bring guns, so we gotta be ready. So he gets the gun. Tony is in love with Maria at this point, so this is still pre-rumble, and they go to this place, and Maria tries to have Tony talk the Jets out of the rumble. He's like, you need to stop Riff, because like Riff is gonna kill Bernardo. He's like, oh, the whole time they're going there, he's like, oh, no. He's like, I can't do anything. They're gonna fight no matter what. And then after they're there for a while, and they sing, I think it's One Hand, One Heart. He's like, okay. He's like, I'll do it. I'll go find Riff. I'll try and talk him out of it. And they go down to the docks, and he finds out Riff's got a gun. And he tries to take the gun, and they sing Just Cool. And it's him and Riff, Tony and Riff, fighting over the gun the whole time. And that's like essentially the point of the movie, where like Tony kind of splits from the Jets, and he just wants them to be peaceful so that him and Maria can get along, and get married, do whatever. But it's going Tony's way for the beginning of the song, and then you get to the end, Riff gets the gun back, and the Jets are all just going at him. So I was thinking cinematically and like choreography wise, because if you haven't seen West Side Story, the choreography is bonkers in that. The fight scenes and the dancing and everything are just, it's amazing, and it's so cool. And the shots and the choreography, I think in this movie are just that much better, because number one, it's Steven Spielberg, and no matter how you feel about his movies, he's been around for a while. He knows this stuff, so it just looks beautiful. The colors, the camera work, and everything, it's so cool. And then the choreography is all amazing. But the music, I think I might still be on the original, because it's just what I know. It's the familiar. It's the original. So it's still really, really good, but I think I'd have to go with the original on the music. Also, if you do go see the movie, the funniest thing, it's not meant to be funny, and it would probably be the same thing for me if I was singing with the close-up camera, but anytime there's a close-up on Ansel Elgort and he does some vibrato, you can see his throat like shake and his Adam's apple bounce up and down. It's really it's kind of off-putting, but kind of funny at the same time. But yeah, I guess my recommendation would be, if you like West Side Story, you like musicals, it wouldn't hurt to go check it out. I thought it was. I'll say it's a good movie.
Yeah, not exactly a glowing recommendation, it seemed like.
True, yeah. I'll say it met my expectations. It didn't exceed them, and there was portions of the movie that did exceed, but I think overall it probably met my expectations. So that's something I can't say about every movie that I've seen this year. So I'll give it a good, like, probably 7 out of 10.
Gotcha. Yeah, I still want to go, but I mean, next weekend, of course. Next weekend, Spider-Man weekend. So.
Gosh, I feel bad for any movie that came out. Well, West Side Story, anything that came out this week, and then anything that comes out next week. There's supposed to be a good movie. I mean, it looks like a good movie. I think it was directed by Guillermo del Toro. I'll look it up really quick. Nightmare Alley. That comes out. It's got some big names in it, but it comes out next weekend. So it's like, what were you thinking?
Right. I feel like it's that way with any movie that comes out simultaneously with the Marvel one, though.
Of course, you've
Just
got
gets like steamrolled.
Yeah, that's true. Of course, you've got your audiences that are gonna go see specific movies. Like, there's probably people who don't really like Marvel movies, but they might be into this movie. They're a Guillermo del Toro fan or something, so they'll go see this. But it's got a stacked cast: Bradley Cooper, Kate Blanchett, Willem Dafoe. Boy, big weekend for Willem Dafoe, huh? 2 movies.
He was a busy man this year.
He must have been. Ron Perlman is in it, and then both of the parents from Step Brothers, Mary Steenburgen and Richard Jenkins. They're both acting in it. I just saw Richard Jenkins' picture, and I was going to say the Step Brothers' dad, but I saw both of them. I don't know if they exclusively act together, or I think it's kind of fun.
They're really good friends, Dan.
They could be.
That's all it is.
But I mean, it's got 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb, 84% on Rotten Tomatoes. Well, Google users 90% like this movie. Google users, I don't know how many of them have seen this movie. Stop lying.
They're interested in it. They just got a good feeling.
They've got a hunch. Oh gosh. I've kind of been eating up a lot of this podcast, but I gotta before I hand over the reins to you for a segment, I gotta talk about, before we get completely off of my West Side Story experience. I put it in our Discord chat. There was 2 women behind me the entire movie, would not stop talking. It was like every 5 minutes. And there's a difference between whispering in a movie theater and talking. If I could chime in on your conversation and have it be relevant, you're talking too loud.
Yeah, that's pretty facts.
I think it was finally my version of you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, because for so many years growing up, I feel like since I was like a teenager, I've loved movies. And a lot of times when you go to a movie theater, if it's a specific movie, for me, it's always the older crowd. I don't know what it is. I can always hear them, and I've always just sat there in not really silence. I'll groan to myself or something, or I'll rub my forehead or whatever. But this time I finally did it. I shushed somebody in a movie theater.
Wow.
And I know. I had 2 people thank me on the way out, so it felt nice to know it was like at least appreciated, and I'm not completely an asshole, but you got so many people that pay. You've told me before, my small town shows, it's $7 or $8, but in other places, it can get up to $15 just for a ticket, maybe even more. So it's like, I'm paying for this experience. Other people are paying for this experience. You paid for this experience. Why are you talking during it? To me, the beauty of a movie is you are immersing yourself in that place or that situation or those characters, and you want to be away and you want to be there and focusing on that for the hour and a half, 2 hours, 2.5 hours. Sometimes now even 3 hours. And you talking about how you know who that actress is that's playing Doc's wife because she's from the original movie, but you can't remember what character it is. So you're going to run through the character list with your friend that you came to this movie with for like 3 minutes. Just wait and watch it at home when it comes out, Pay your $3 to rent it so you can talk with your friend on the couch if you really don't care. And I know I probably take it I probably take it a lot more serious than other people do. But movies and TV are kind of my bread and butter, Mm-hmm. It's like if someone who loved basketball, you're sitting at the game and it's a home game. Game's on the line, someone's at the line shooting 2 free throws, and it's dead quiet in the arena. And 2 people behind you start talking. It's not even about the game. It's about where they want to go get supper after the game, or the game next week, or what soap they use in the bathroom. And it just takes you out of that moment, I feel like. So it sucks. I hate it, but I just finally couldn't hold my tongue.
Yeah, I mean, being the shusher is never something you really want to own up to.
No.
But I feel like sometimes you want someone else to be the shusher.
Oh, I think that's what it is. I waited for like an hour and a half into the movie because I was like, it's got to stop at some point, or somebody else has got to care enough as I do and be like bigger and meaner than I am, that they're willing to just shush somebody. But it just didn't happen, and finally I was like, so everybody else feels the same way I do. I gotta take a stand.
You got those thank yous on the way out. Like, I feel like the majority was with you.
Right.
In that case, it's not so bad.
Right. I don't know.
But
to me, I'll try and sit up front so that, because I believe most of the people usually sit in the back who do it, but this time there was somebody right in a row behind me, so I just had to do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Where were we headed?
You're good. So I had a very similar experience. I don't know if I told you about this before, but I am pretty sure I at least didn't talk about it on the podcast. But last weekend I went to our friend Logan, who has shown up on this podcast in words every time still. He had a concert nearby, so we drove over to there, and it's a very gorgeous song is going on, Ave Maria. Even if you're not a choir person, you probably know Ave Maria.
Right.
But at the end, there's just this very like sort of muted, quiet ending, and you know what I heard instead, Dan?
Oh no!
Heard a fucking baby crying over the whole thing. And only like after the song was over, where they're like, "Yeah, let's get this kid out of here, like let's do it now that he's ruined 3 songs in a row."
I feel bad talking about this, not having a kid, because I'm sure it's very, very hard. I'm sure it's hard to find, like, line everything up, like find a specific night, find a babysitter who's willing to be up that late, or maybe on a weeknight, or if it's a weekday, like they've got class the next day, weekend, they might want to go out and do something else, and like not having work or anything. So you have to go with this with your kid because you couldn't find a babysitter or whatever. But it is, yeah. I will preface here and say that I have no idea what it's like to be at one of these things with a kid or anything, but it does get very distracting, and at a point I feel bad for the performers, because it's this thing that you've worked months and months and months and months and months on. And then there's like, especially if that's you, if you've got like the end of Ave Maria, whether it's a solo or it's just this beautiful part of the piece, like you said, and something just happens to like take you out of it. Because you're in your own little world when you're performing. And you just kind of try to stay in that zone, and it's tough if something takes you out of it. We were at Mamma Mia at our old high school. I was there with Logan. Go ahead and name drop him again. And we both just looked at each other and gave each other these looks, because they're using spotlights. And so, especially when you're in the middle of a scene, I'm sure it's hard to find a time to leave, because you want to leave during the scene because the lights are up. If you're leaving when the lights are out, it's almost impossible to see. But there's people who are walking by the bleachers in these spots where there's spotlights, whether it's to go to the bathroom or to do whatever, and they're walking right in front of spotlights while there's a performance going on. And that's, I imagine that's pretty, like, jostling if you're on stage and you walk in front of a spotlight, so it's on you, and then it's off, and then it's back on. It just flickers in your face. You know?
That's wild, actually.
Yeah, Logan and I just gave each other looks and shook our heads because, like, we've been in that situation. I guess, you know, it happens enough where you kind of get used to it if you've been in it for a few years, but if you're a freshman or it's your first time performing, that can really, like, throw you. So, like I said, we've got a lot of these situations today where it's hard because we've never been in the other person's shoes, and maybe this will be used against me one day. Maybe I'm gonna be maybe I'll have a kid and be at a performance, and I'll have to run my kid to the bathroom, and someone will follow me into the bathroom and go, "Hey, was this you? About 5 years ago, you said this on your podcast?" I'll have to go, "Yeah, I guess times have changed," but
yeah, I hate it because, like, you know, obviously, like you said, we're two dipshits in our early 20s. Like, we don't know shit about parenting. But at the same time, there was, like, 3 or 4 different performance days for this thing that they could have gone to and, like, tried to find somebody else to babysit for. There was, I don't know, and it happened for so many songs. Like, even if you're like, I want to see my kid, I feel like you've got to at some point have that sacrifice where you're like, all right, like, I'm ruining these songs for everyone else. Because it was a while. It wasn't just that song. That was just the worst offense of it.
Yeah, I just, for me, my thing is always, I don't understand. I've heard some people say that they want to bring their young kids to stuff like that to, like, expose them to something like that. And I'm like, they're like 1 year old.
He's not going to fucking remember shit.
I don't remember anything at this point, like, it's very fuzzy, anything I feel like pre-9th grade.
Yeah, facts.
There's certain things that you remember. Like, I remember getting thrown into a coffee table when I was 5 and having to get stitches. Because it was a traumatic event. But
there's no shot your 1-year-old's going to be like, oh, man, I'm really glad my mom took me to listen to Franz Biebel's Ave Maria when I was 1.
Really fuck with this Beethoven. This shit slaps.
Yo, this is a fucking Moonlight Sonata, Mom? I remember you taking me to this when I was 15 months old.
Oh, gosh. But, I mean, like you said before, we're guys in our 20s. I guess, you know, opinions could shift, but this is where we're at right now. If you don't like it, deal with it.
So true.
Another fiery opinion that I have just put up on my my little letterboard thing.
Yeah.
Because I had it set to fuck your life, bing bong, for a while. Just changed it to Gumby would kick Popeye's ass.
That's so not true.
You don't think so? No. Gumby's literally putty.
Yeah?
Or he's like clay, probably.
What's going to happen when Popeye fucking molds him into a ball and then puts him in his pocket?
Hey, you can't do that. Pokey would kick his ass.
My God. Okay, this is a team thing now, though, Dan.
They are a team, though. Gumby doesn't go anywhere without Pokey.
Okay, but then it's Popeye versus Gumby and Pokey. Because now this is a harder conversation.
Not my fault if he's a friendly guy, you know? Popeye's an asshole.
Yeah, sure. Oh, whoa, Dan.
He is. He beats the shit out of Bluto all the time.
Yeah, because he just wants fucking to spend some time with Olive Oil, and Bluto's ruining his shit.
Okay, well, did
Bluto's
he ever think
a cock
about...
block, bro.
Did he ever think about having a conversation with Bluto about that?
I'm sure he did at some point.
Did he ever buy them appetizers at the Olive Garden and you know, just have a nice chat with him?
Here's the thing, though, Dan, is that how interesting would that have been to watch on television? Not at all. So it happened off screen. We all know this.
That's true. I would like a Popeye episode where they go to Olive Garden.
Also important to this conversation, Dan, is does Popeye have access to spinach?
Sure, he could get spinach, but is Gumby gonna let him get it?
It's not about what Gumby's gonna let him do, Dan. It's
What
about
is-
what Popeye is willing to do.
All I'm saying is, okay, here's the strategy. Now, I just came up with this. Gumby messes with the spinach can earlier. He takes some of his clay. This is gonna get grotesque or not grotesque, but it's gonna get a little gory for our more squeamish viewers. If you want to skip like 10 minutes ahead, but
What the fuck?
okay,
Where are you going with this?
this is what Gumby's gonna do. Now, you guys can come at me with any of your shutting down my stuff, but this is what Gumby would do. Gumby takes the spinach out of the spinach can before. You know, he's in Popeye's house. He snuck in. He has squished himself down and he snuck under the doors of Popeye's house. He takes the spinach out of the can, takes some of the clay off of himself and molds it to look like spinach, puts it in the spinach can. Okay? Popeye he's losing the fight the next day. You know, things are not going his way. He dumps the spinach into his mouth. Gumby starts laughing because he knows it's his clay. He tears apart Popeye's insides with his clay. Popeye is no more. Bye-bye, Popeye.
Okay, so here's a question for you, Dan.
Yeah.
I think I might have a few, actually. How does Gumby get all this notice about the fight, but Popeye, like, doesn't know about it? Or
Popeye
something?
knows. Popeye knows. They've got it set up.
Okay, yeah, but how come...
Popeye is
Gumby-
human. He needs sleep. Gumby
Yeah.
is clay.
So you
He's up all hours of the night.
think Popeye, like, knowing this, would just, like, leave it unattended? You think he
His
just
spinach?
leaves the spinach out,
I mean,
knowing that
Gumby
this fight is coming?
Gumby has really good detective skills. He could probably find the spinach.
Where do you pull that fun fact out of your ass from?
I mean, there was a lot of episodes of Gumby. I'm sure he was a detective at some point. he probably was.
You're making this an impossible argument to win because you're just like, oh, dude, this like probably happened.
I want this to be a continuing thing where if we have guests on, we ask them about the Gumby Popeye
Who's
debate.
gonna win? Okay, yeah, but you're making me fucking do research on.
You're looking up Gumby detective episode. Oh, I like that we got on this tangent just because I changed my board.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot more to it than I expected, Dan. Okay, listen. If I tell Popeye that olive oil is like being guarded by Pokey and Gumby, then Gumby's fucked.
Well, this has nothing to do with olive oil, though. This is their pride.
Okay, sure, yeah, but if I tell him that it's about olive oil, then suddenly he wants to fight a little more.
All I'm saying is eventually the guy's got to fall asleep. When he falls asleep, even if it's just for a couple minutes, Gumby will be there.
Okay, so picture this alternate thing. So it's Gumby and Pokey, right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, if he needs Pokey.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Is that if Popeye kidnaps Pokey and keeps him, like, kidnapped, then he'll make fucking Gumby, like, trade him the win for Pokey back. You know
No
what
way.
I'm saying?
That's just gonna rile
No
Gumby
way.
up. That is a John Wick situation right there. Gumby goes killer mode. Gumby goes killer mode.
Dude, I've never seen a John Wick movie.
It's essentially something gets like taken from him in every movie, and he gets mad and goes and does something about it.
So it's taken.
No. Actually, I think it's just his dog gets. I think his wife has died before, and his wife gave him a dog before she passed away, and they kill the dog. So then he goes and kills all these people, and then I think 2 and 3 are like, he's back in the game, he can't get back out.
Right.
So they just all go after him.
That's how it always is, dude. One last job.
They are good movies, though. I like them.
Maybe give it a watch sometime.
Be a good idea.
We can watch it on film study, Popeye and I can.
Pop. You can just be sitting there the whole time. You wouldn't be able to understand him.
He'd do his little laugh. He'd go, yeah. This isn't really a comedy, Popeye, but...
Gumby hears the laugh and he busts in and he kills Popeye.
Literally, he wouldn't.
And then he mimics the Popeye laugh.
You're coping right now.
I did take a little copium.
Dude, I just don't have enough knowledge about Gumby.
I'm gonna start watching Gumby cartoons and Popeye cartoons, and I'm gonna dissect them. I'm gonna have a film room for this, where I just take apart, and I'm gonna have a board with like the string, the twine. I'm gonna connect them, and I will find out. I'm still staunch in my belief that Gumby would kill Popeye, but I do understand I need some solid evidence to back it up.
So here's something for you to chew on, Dan.
Okay.
On IMDb, Gumby only has a rating of 7.0, whereas the original Popeye has 7.1. So something for you to chew on there.
Oh no.
Some food for thought there for you.
Oh, jeez. I might have... No, you know what? Never mind. He can... Okay, I did look this up. I looked up Gumby height and weight. And he is 7 inches tall.
Okay, yeah, so this isn't... the debate's over.
No, he's made of clay. He can be as big as he wants to be if he has enough clay.
There is a finite amount of clay.
Okay, no... I understand, like within himself, there's only so much clay. But if he gets to a clay deposit or something, game over, Popeye.
Oh, you're talking like a Sandman situation here, dude.
Yeah. Kind of is.
Okay, but we don't know that about Gumby.
Does Gumby have a girlfriend? That also changes things.
Popeye is simple, man. He eats the spinach, he gets strong.
Okay, I just found a picture with Gumby with a sword, so it's game over for Popeye.
Okay, yeah, but it's 7 inches tall, Dan.
Gumby also has a girlfriend?
It's a fucking thumbtack is what it is.
I'm sticking to my guns on this one. If he finds enough clay...
You're not backing down from this.
if he finds enough clay, he can do anything. You know?
Okay,
just saying.
Yeah, sure. But... Where is he gonna find all this clay that he needs?
There's clay all over the world.
I guess.
I think if you dig deep enough, there's probably a layer of it. I don't even think it's that deep.
All right.
We used to have some out on the farm.
Here's another fun little scenario for you, Dan. Popeye just gets Gumby wet and then fucking sticks him to his wall. He's sticking on the wall for sure. No shot he's getting out of it.
But if Gumby's got enough clay, there's no way that Popeye can shove him. You know? If he weighs enough.
Okay, sure, but literally he can just rip him limb from limb. Also, there's that.
That wouldn't be very nice.
And if he gets him small enough and he just puts him in a jar, he wins. He just has to put him in a jar, Dan.
Okay. We're not gonna come to any resolution.
No, I think we're at an impasse here. But I just think the jar thing is sort of
you're on Team Popeye
in the coffin.
I'm on Team Gumby. Please let us know where you guys stand on this. I've never wanted so much audience participation from something as this. I've got to know.
If you're listening here, Team Popeye, tweet at ParkJ0HN. Park John. That is John with a 0. Because, yeah, we need to know on this.
Yeah, and if you guys are Team Gumby, tweet at the same Twitter handle and just absolutely obliterate his Twitter feed with Team Gumby tweets.
Yeah, if you want to look like a sheep, if you want to look correct,
don't have to be a sheep. We're fighting an uphill battle. I need as many Gumby soldiers as I can get.
You'll need them. Maybe we'll probably end up revisiting this in a future episode.
100%. No, definitely not.
We have to come to a conclusion eventually, whether it's a begrudging one because the majority is with one of us, or if one of us has a revelation that the other one's right.
I think that's what I'm really interested to see is who gets the most, which team gets the most.
Yeah,
I think,
for sure.
I think if you get enough and they have good enough like counter arguments, I could probably be swayed, but I don't know. I thought about this while I was making the board.
Once I saw Gumby's height was 7 inches tall.
I'm just saying I saw a picture of him with the sword, so he obviously has combat training.
Okay, with a freaking sewing needle.
No, it was an actual sword.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Was it a sword made of clay?
Probably it was a claymation show. I'm guessing.
Then he just steps on it again, then. And we're back where we started.
Oh, see, people can't get their facts straight. This one says 9 inches.
Okay, either way, we can agree he's less than a foot. Which is still enough to put him in a jar.
In this situation he is, but... Oh, okay. I should pull up my Twitter and see if I had any interesting tidbits. We kind of had another week where there wasn't really a ton of entertainment stuff that went on, I guess.
Or not a lot of entertainment stuff that we consumed.
That's true. Yeah. Oh, Game Awards. Those happened.
Oh, true.
I was happy with the outcome. It Takes Two won Game of the Year.
I can shake on that.
Also won, I think, Family Game of the Year. So I had 2 awards.
Disagree with that one.
Really? You think Nintendo should have won? There was 5 games in that category. One was It Takes Two, and the other 4 were all Nintendo games.
I loved It Takes Two. I'm not sure if that's a game that you're sitting down and playing with the kids. You know, like
I think out of my lineup, out of my usual games I play, it's definitely if you haven't ever played a video game, I think that would be a cool one to get into.
That is true.
Whether it's you and your friend or I mean you and your significant other or even you and your kid. I think for us, the reason we can't see parent and kid gaming is because our parents were never into video games. That's not true. Dave played Pong when he was young.
I was saying it's not a family game because, I mean, the story seems like material that I'm not sure would be.
It would be pretty intense. Yeah, it's about divorce.
Dude, if I was a kid and I saw the scene with the parents like ripping that elephant apart,
I suppose that would be kind of.
I would be kind of scarred, to be quite honest. If
you're young enough, that could do some damage.
Yeah. For context, there's a part of the game where you play as this couple who is like getting divorced, right? And it's like all co-op type thing. And there's one point they think like their daughter's tears will make them like come back to the real world. They're dolls at this point. This is harder to explain than I expected. But to make her cry, there is a point where they like ruin this stuffed elephant she has. And it's like a very, even like for us, kind of a fucked up part of the game.
Yeah,
I'm guessing you remember
we
this.
did talk about that when we were playing it. We were like, this is weird that they're trying to force their daughter to cry.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's one I'd want to play with the whole family, but I do get it's really accessible. Like if you have a significant other who doesn't play video games, something like that. So that kind of makes sense, I guess. But yeah.
Yeah.
But they had some announcements. Did you see they're making a Wonder Woman game, Dan?
Yes, that looks cool. Was that Rocksteady?
No, it was Monolith who made the Middle Earth games, Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War.
Yeah. Those are good games.
Yeah. That I think that will be very cool.
PUBG's free to play now. In case the one thing blocking you from playing the game PUBG was having to pay.
That game.
Dead game. Dude, battle royales are. I'm getting sick of them. It's all
There's
is
so
anymore.
many. Yeah.
Yeah. They announced, what was it, Rumbleverse, and I was watching one of our favorite YouTubers, Coney. Well, he's a Twitch streamer too. I was watching his Twitch stream of the Game Awards, and he was like popping off about that Rumbleverse battle royale game. I was like, it's getting played out, and it's just something. It's just something that I don't enjoy. It was the same thing when they announced. I just saw it. Alan Wake 2. Oh, I loved the original Alan Wake game, but it's a survival horror game. If it's got a story to it and it's got a campaign, like, I'll play it. But I just can't give. It's like, of course, Minecraft isn't a horror game, it's a survival like crafting game. But I've just never been able to get into those games.
Yeah, it depends for me. I've talked about this a lot lately, and I don't know why, but like, I'll always tell people at work that when I play video games, I need an objective, you know?
Yeah, yep.
I don't know if I'm just stupid or what the deal is, but I have to, Minecraft I can never get into because I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing right now?
Right.
Maybe that's my fault for making games feel like a chore or something, maybe. Because that's what it makes it sound like when I say that out loud.
Well, but maybe it just depends, what you grew up with. Because there's kids who grew up with Minecraft. That was their first game experience.
Yeah,
who just like
true.
that stuff. They'll play, Minecraft and Terraria and, Hitman and stuff. Where you can just do whatever, 50 billion different times. And they can just, be happy with that. But I'm the same way. I'm I'm trying to do this thing. I like side quests and stuff. I can put a lot of hours. I think The Witcher I think either 100 hours or more into that game, just doing a bunch of side quests and the main quests and stuff. But that's just because there's certain objectives that you can do, even if it's not your main objective, that gets you through the game as quick as possible. I'll still play it. So
yeah, I need an objective too. I think that's what it is.
I know I've got a lot of friends who love this game, and I love it. I've played it 2 or 3 different times now. Cuphead had, I think, I don't know if it's the first time I've seen it. I don't know if it's the first time they've shown the DLC.
They've announced it before, but it's the first time they actually showed anything from it.
Yeah, June 30th of next year is what they've got for their release date.
I was not good enough at games to finish Cuphead, but I might try it again.
Oh, I love that game so much. It's so cool. The art style and the music, even if you're not good at the game. I know a lot of people enjoy that stuff. I know a lot of people who never beat the game like you, and they still listen to the music a ton.
I listen to the soundtrack when I'm studying a ton, just because it's it's just good jazz music, man. Literally, that's all it is.
Oh gosh, I got really, really excited and then really not excited when they showed Star Wars game. Star Wars Eclipse is what it's called, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so cool! Finally, another new Star Wars game. I just wanted to make a Witcher type, just this huge open world, a lot of quests, and you're a Jedi type of Star Wars game. But I don't think this is it, because it got made by Quantic Dream. They made Detroit Become Human and many other what is now placed under the movie video game type genre, where you just kind of sit in a chair with your controller, not unlike you do with most other games. But really all you do in these games is make decisions. You might move around every once in a while, but there's not really any action that you perform yourself. You just make dialogue choices, which I mean, I've kind of got a soft spot for some of those games, Telltale games. I like The Walking Dead and Wolf Among Us. I liked that game, but that's just like not the type of game that I'm looking for Star Wars. There probably is some people who are, but
Yeah, when it's already based off of a movie franchise, I feel like
that's a
you'd
good
want
point
something
too.
a little different.
Yeah, if I want a movie video game, I'll just watch the movie that the video game is based on.
Yeah, true. Well, I mean, not necessarily that, but like you're not gonna want like just a thing where you choose dialogue choices,
Yeah.
because that's what one of my favorite TV shows, Game of Thrones, and I was like, oh cool, there's a video game for it, but it's just you choose dialogue choices, and it's like, I already saw how this ends, bro. Like,
That was a very big thing, like, how many, I can't even remember how many years ago it was. Bandersnatch got released for Black Mirror on Netflix, where it's like,
oh yeah,
you make certain choices. I'm very bad at those games. And that type of thing, where it's like, there's like 7 different endings. I'm really bad. I've got to take like 4 or 5 years before I can even come back and even think about like doing another ending, because so much of the gameplay is similar, and it's just like you make certain different choices and you see something different.
That's where I think those types of things should be. Literally just stream them to Netflix and just treat them like they're movies.
Well, because they're getting in. I'm pretty sure Netflix is getting into the video game scene. I think it's all mobile.
I believe that they're trying to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually will, but
I don't know how to work. People do enjoy that stuff. I don't know how much time we have left. Yeah, we got enough time. I was gonna say they could probably do something similar to Xbox Game Pass, and I forgot. I saw rumors that PlayStation is supposed to be doing something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna look up the name of it.
I think Project Spartacus is what you're looking for. Or that's what the name was on the rumors, at least.
That does sound right.
Yeah,
Spartacus,
think
yeah.
the way it was they were making it sound like they weren't going to have new releases come, but like it was going to be legacy content. Like I saw their biggest tier would be like PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and then PSP games, which would be very cool.
It would be, yeah. $60 per year compared to $10 for a month. If you're getting you get a year of it, you're getting like half off. It's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, I've started to like have that grow on me, like using annual plans instead of monthly.
But I like my achievements. I hate that I played Xbox for so many years, because it's the only reason I don't have like Game Pass. Well, I guess you get achievements with Game Pass, but I like it on my PC. So I'll like consistently just try to get games on Steam if I can, so I can get all of my achievements just in that one spot.
Yeah, I don't mind that much. So I'll always it's pretty much just like if a new Xbox game comes out that I want, I just buy a month of Game Pass instead.
I did that with Psychonauts. I had my like $1 a month because I hadn't used it yet, so I did that and played Psychonauts 2 on there.
What'd you do? Quick loop around back to Game Awards that we were discussing. How did
pissed me off.
Psychonauts 2 not win Best Art Direction?
How do they not win anything, dude?
That was a little silly.
I was like mad. I just didn't get it.
Yeah.
The art's really cool. The story was really good.
Yeah.
I liked the gameplay a lot.
Best narrative winner was the Guardians of the Galaxy game, so like
it was a good game. This might be, I guess, our last story. Sure. I kind of want to get into it though. I'm pretty sure it was an original story, right? Like it wasn't from the comics or anything. Yeah. Like obviously there was elements taken from the comics, characters. Are we
spoiling the Guardians of the Galaxy game here?
I don't know. Do you want to?
We can, man.
Okay, I guess if you haven't played the game yet, this might be your end point in the podcast. But
And if you haven't played it and you want to, otherwise just listen to us talk about it.
Yeah, that's true. So it is a really cool. I did like the ending a lot. I knew it wasn't the actual ending when what is it? You beat Raker. And they start like walking off the planet back to their ship.
The credits have a little, like, parade thing.
Yeah, they have the parade. Yeah. But where you know it's not ending is the credits start to roll, and some of the names are... Well, first of all, I was like, this is like a weird ending. Usually they just roll the credits. They don't have you doing something, like walking. And then also some of the names in the credits start changing to Magus, which is the dark entity that comes out of the Soul Stone in the game. And is, like, you're pretty sure is the big bad through most of the game. So they get back on the ship, and Adam Warlock, who consumed Magus, because he's like the guy who held Magus before, and he can hold her in again. He starts getting indigestion. He's burping, and he sounds like he's going to throw up, and they tell him there's a potty in the back of the ship. So all of a sudden, they get transported out of the ship, and Magus is this huge thing in the shape of Adam Warlock. And they have to antagonize Magus enough, because they're the Guardians of the Galaxy, and that's what they do. And the gameplay is good, because you just had that crazy fight against Raker, where Raker had like a bunch of health bars. And you have to take down his shield every time and stuff. So... It is kind of nice that it's just you fighting off waves of like the little Magus enemies and antagonizing them, and they like come together at the end. But they end up, well, what is it? Star-Lord holds on to the Soul Stone, which could kill him. And he gets Magus back inside the Soul Stone because that's the only thing that can hold her. They give the Soul Stone to Adam Warlock because that is the lowest kind of inevitability that Magus will get out again. If they hold it, you know, they're the Guardians of the Galaxy, so something's going to happen. But they hold Magus in there, and that's the end. The Guardians of the Galaxy go about their way, and that's it.
Yeah, I thought the narrative was really good. You know,
it was very cool.
What I really liked was how they fleshed out Drax.
Yeah.
Drax was very cool in this game.
That's true. Through the movies, it was just always like, oh, Drax funny. You know, he's this big bad guy, and he's very, very serious and stuff, but he gets stuck in his promise, which is them showing you, like, your deepest desire. For most of them, it's somebody who's gone in their life, and Magus says that if you, like, follow the promise and accept the promise, that you can be there forever. But it's like that acceptance of it's not real. Like, it's as much as you want. For him, it's his wife and daughter were killed by Thanos back on when he came and like destroyed their planet. So it's like really sad, and you feel for him because, like I said, he's like you said too. He's really fleshed out in the game. Usually in the movies, it's just like the skin deep stuff. Like, you know that they've said before that his wife and daughter were killed, but this is like he's always the warrior and the strong guy, but this is him being like really, really vulnerable. And he's just like, he's like, if I don't stay here, like, what do I have? You know, they were all that I had. And that's the other thing I like about the game I was going to bring up as well, is that the beginning of the game, everybody hates each other. They don't act as a unit, as a team. They're all just kind of there for themselves. Especially you, Star-Lord, and Rocket just go at each other like crazy. Mm-hmm. And then it's like you go through the game, and they get closer and closer and closer. And I think it's the point where, like, you're trying to get Drax back from the promise, and Rocket. It's that big fight where you're fighting like your fog selves, and
Yeah.
he's supposed to go through that water, and he just refuses to go through the water until I think it's just you and him left. Everybody else has been knocked out. And he's just like he says flark it, because that's what they say instead of fuck in the game, which is kind of funny. Kind of grew on me through the game, but he goes through it, and then later in the game he's like, life's too short. He's like, I love you guys, I'll go through this stuff for you. And they just get closer and closer through the game. Well, once they hit the climax, I think it's just they start to get closer and closer. Through the beginning of the game, they're usually just going at each other for the first few hours.
Yeah. I think it also depends a little bit on your choices you make,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That is kind of a cool aspect of it. Is you've got a lot of choices that you can make. What is it? There's the point where you get caught by the Nova Corps and you have the llama on your ship and very illegal space parts. What did you choose?
I gave him the space parts.
Oh, I gave him the llama.
Damn, dude, that was Groot's homie the rest of the game.
Well, I mean, the llama comes back.
Does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The choices don't fucking matter.
Did he, what was it? It's when you're fighting like that really pretentious dude from Lady Hellbender. Did Rocket build you all the stuff?
No.
For the ship?
No, he didn't.
Okay. Oh, well,
wow.
That's what happened when I kept the space parts.
I really fucked up.
Did you pay your Nova Corps fine?
I did, yeah.
Okay. If anyone has played the game and they haven't done that, let me know, because I want to know if your ship locks up at some point.
Yeah.
That's what I was afraid of. I was like, we're going to get to a point in the game where, like, Raker's going to kill us, or we have to do some really cool maneuver or something, and the ship's going to, like, lock up. So I was like, I'm going to pay this. That's what it was for me. It wasn't the moral thing. It was
I was the same way.
Yeah. I was just like, I don't want to die somewhere. But it was definitely a good story. I was just like, it's a Marvel game. It's got Marvel tied to it. So I feel like they should be penalized for that. They probably shouldn't, because it was I'm pretty sure it was like an original story. But it's just Kevin Feige, I don't know how to say his last name, recently said something about the movies, about how he feels like they're penalized for nominations and stuff, awards, because they have Marvel tied to them. I mean, somebody was like, yeah, because they're not really original stories. Some of them are, but a lot of them you're taking material from the comic books and you're just putting them on the screen, which is, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's making things like more people access that, because they're not as into reading all the comic books, so they can just digest this stuff in, like, nowadays, like 3 hours or 3.5 hours. They're getting pretty long, but so they're good movies. They make money. I wish he was just content with what they get, but I guess at the same time, I kind of understand it, because they're still good performances and everything. It's just you've already got all this source material that you're pulling. So
Well, a lot of their shows got nominated for Emmys too.
Yeah, I think a lot of the shows do well. His was just movies.
Fair enough.
He's really big on the movies, but I don't know. I like you said, Guardians is a really, really good story. I personally wish like Psychonauts would have won. I really liked this story, and I just wanted Psychonauts to win something, and I thought it was going to win that. I was surprised. I didn't think Guardians of the Galaxy, because like I said, it had Marvel tied to it. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because I am salty towards the Avengers game. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't know.
All right. Well, what do you say we wrap her up here?
Yeah, we're coming up on the end. I think next week will probably be our kind of best of.
Oh, Dan, not quite. Next week is going to be the big Spider-Man spoiler cast, brother.
Oh, next week is, well, I guess our last one to record in December would still be 2 weeks away. So, Okay. next you heard it from the big boss man. Next week, big Spider-Man. If you're, I mean, not a huge Spider-Man fan, we'll probably try and cover it at the beginning of the podcast, and I might try and drop a time. I can't remember what they're called.
Timestamp.
Oh, timestamp. Yes. I'll try and drop a timestamp. Come up with one when I look at the recording. So if you're not too big of a Spider-Man fan, you can just skip to a certain point in the podcast when we've stopped talking about it. But if you are a Spider-Man fan, I'm sure we will have both seen it by the time we record. So that's going to be probably a good chunk of the beginning of the podcast. So.
And then, as Dan said, the week after that will be our best ofs.
We'll
picking our highlights from every form of media. TV show, video games, everything.
I'll share my Spotify Wrapped. I don't know if Parker will.
Nope.
But he's a little embarrassed.
I'm a little embarrassed.
Everybody's got their own music taste.
That'll also be, Dan, the first podcast that we record in person. Because I'll be home that weekend.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That'll be fun. Yeah.
So, a real exciting next couple of weeks here at the Kid Table.
So you can go ahead and pull up your chair these next couple of weeks. Be a couple of good episodes. But until then, we'll see you next week.